Hey, beautiful souls. Let's just see if you can hear me. Good morning, good morning. I have to introduce my little co-host down here. Hang on, let me get her. This is Ruby, and I'm looking after Ruby for the next 3 weeks now. I've been here a week. She's such a sweetie. She's 16 years of age. And she follows me around like a little shadow. She has a bed in every room. And wherever I go, she comes in and sits in that bed, whether it's for a minute. So if I'm doing stuff around the house, she comes around and follows me. She is so sweet. Okay. I think she's got one tooth left. But she is my charge at the moment. You probably may be aware that I've been house sitting for the last 1.5 years and that I haven't had a home base. I've just been traveling around New South Wales, living in all these fantastic houses and looking after beautiful dogs. So this is the 14th or 15th dog that I've had to look after in the 1.5 years. So I'll put her back in her little bed. There we go. All right. So welcome everybody. Oh my gosh, now I've forgotten how to use this thing. How do I get your comments up on the screen? Here we go. Hi H, thanks for joining. Hello India, beautiful, beautiful India. Susie, hi Susie. Hi Teresa, Cappy, Shari Ives, the one with the really quirky sense of humor. That I love reading all of your comments, Shari. You're just giving me a good laugh. And Richie. Hey Richie, I popped on for a little bit this morning and had a look at your live stream, but I was a bit tired, so I went back to sleep. But yeah, it sounded great. You were going through your Mixcloud, was it? I think. Hi, Brian. One love, Brian. One love. All right. So I am going to, let me have a look at this. I'm just going to quieten down my phone. And what would I want to talk about today? So if you have any questions for me, or you would like a reading, like a card or some light language, just put it in the chat and I'll try and catch it and do whatever anybody would like me to do, some language or whatever. But I'd like to talk about 2023 actually as a beginning. There is a real different energy between 22 and 23. And when you add up, like 2023 is a 7 when you add it up. And 7 is my number. That's when you add up all the letters of my name, it reduces back to a 7. And it's people that are on a spiritual journey. And I think that this year is going to be pivotal. And it's actually, the energy is very different. And the funniest way that I saw the change in this, is there's a couple that I watch from time to time on YouTube. They have a channel. And their interaction has always been a certain way. Hey, squirrel. Their interaction has always been a certain way, and she was very outspoken and would always talk over him, and he could never get a word in edgewise, and yet they were both sort of at the same level, awareness wise and spiritual wise, and you could really see the dynamic. Anyway, in their first video this year, I watched them interact, and there was an equality amongst, with their energy, with their ability to talk backwards and forwards in harmony, rather than talking over or interrupting, or feeling left out. Like, you could see it on the face of the guy that she was very powerful and really just would talk over him. And in their first video of 2023, they were even. Like, you could feel the shift. Yeah, Paul. Hi, Paul. Different energies. I think look, whatever it is, it's hard to define, and each person would be able to describe it themselves. But for me, there's some sort of there was like spaghetti energy, like knots and knots and knots, and that has alleviated quite a bit from my perspective. And the reflection in this video, it was stark, night and day, how they interacted. So something really shifted. Or what you could say is that I've shifted, because I'm now seeing it. See, this is how the mirroring works. Because I used to watch, and I'd just watch this guy, and I would observe and sort of feel sorry for him in a way. But I understood it's their dynamic, it's their interaction, finding out who they are in the relationship, which is why relationships can be so fascinating and interesting if you are aware and navigate them from this higher perspective. Yes, Kappa, Paul is my cousin, is my first cousin, and he is somebody that I rely on greatly. He's a fantastic person to bounce ideas off, and if I'm in a place of I don't know what to do, I call Paul. He's a pretty wise guy, so I love him heaps and heaps. Just let me see who else. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Chris. Welcome back from the last live. Okay. And yes, if you have a YouTube channel, let Hippie or Holistic know, and they will share it in the chat, so that you can go and have a look and hopefully subscribe, because it's all about, in a way, supporting each other in whatever way we can. So yes, so in my Susan, hello Susan, hi Lotus. I have focused, as you guys know, on the inner child, on the emotions, on the trauma, and healing, seeing it, identifying it, and healing it. But now I reckon this year is a bit different. We have broken free from some of that old stuff, and this is why I called this. It's all about the frequency. So when you make a conscious choice to shift your frequency, so you've seen all of your junk, you've seen all of the program, you've seen your knee-jerk reactions, you then get to a point where you go, that's not what I want to do. And in fact, just prior to starting this, I was feeling a lot of fear, because it's a big deal to sit and talk and try and be entertaining and engaging and interesting while live. And if anybody's not done it, it is a challenge when you're first starting to do it. And I was standing in the kitchen and I've just made my restorative cup of tea, and I could feel the terror, the fear, and I just recognized it and embraced it and loved it. I truly loved the fear, and I thought, I'm going to do something with this energy. I agree. It's really hard, isn't it, Richie, doing it on your own? I find it easier to talk backwards and forwards, and to actually look at the comments and then talk is it's almost like patting your head and rubbing your stomach, and I just can't do that either. So this is why I get a little bit a bit nervous. But anyway, so we've focused on all of this healing, all of this diving into what's going on underneath in our subconscious, in our inner child. And this year is about consciously choosing to step into a new frequency. Now, in the video that I did, this part 2 of now, what is it called again? The recent part 2. What is it? Holistic or hippie? Do we have free will? Sorry. Oh my goodness. So in that I talk about the school and how I saw super beings, amazing beings around me. And I even exhibited, you know, these amazing, yes, H, thank you. Yeah, the free will. I know, I'm actually a little bit hyper this morning. I'm not sure why. Anyway, let's think of this. So I saw super beings. I saw human beings that had accessed different aspects of themselves, deeper aspects, and that showed that they were beyond the regular human. And I even saw, what I haven't mentioned, there's a guy called, there was a guy who first demonstrated this. Now, he got a pack of playing cards, normal playing cards, and he laid them face down like a stack with the pattern facing up. And he could go through the entire deck and tell you each card without looking at the front. So he'd go 10 of hearts and turn it over and it'd be the 10 of hearts. And he did this through focus, through the intent of and using the disciplines and processes that we were taught. And a lot of people then began to start doing that, to be able to see. And my understanding is that you're seeing, what you're doing is we're in Hertzian, and we access our midbrain, our psychic brain, through the infrared frequency, which is the next one up. So when he's focusing, he moved into a zone of being in infrared, and a shadow of the card would appear on the back of the card, and he could see what it was. And he did it all 52 cards without fail. And there were people who were doing that as well. So it's another way you utilize your psychic brain, your midbrain. You become clairvoyant, you can see the future, you can remote view, you can send and receive between people. So on other sides of the world, you can pick up what the other person is thinking and sending to you. So over and over, I've seen that we can be much more than they've ever told us that we can be, and that we are almost blind in a way, walking around this planet blind. Because if our abilities in our mind and our brain was active, we would see this world very differently and know what was coming to us beyond the horizon. We wouldn't, in a way, be in fear of the future, we would actually have an understanding of what might be coming towards us. So there's some light language that's coming through. So I'll bring through some language to start, and let me have a look on who else. Yes, that is absolutely true. I lost it now. We are the technology they are trying to sell us as material tech. Yeah, we have it in our own brain. Why do we only use 10% of our brain? What's the other 90% working and doing? And why haven't we lost that part? You know, the belief is in biology that if you don't use it, you lose it. So why do we have a brain this big but only using 10%? And I think that the other 90% there, and in a way, is working, but we've cut out perceiving that. So we are seeing lots more than our brain is allowing us to see. So if, for example, there were, you know, I don't know how you define it or quantify it, but if there were 400 bits of information that are coming into our brain and we are seeing the wall, a painting, the sky, that there's actually 1 million bits of information coming towards our brain, but it is all filtered out because as far as the brain is concerned, it's keeping us safe. It is allowing us to see only what it thinks we need to maintain the status quo. Yes, H, yes. Does chakra work, crown opening start to open up more of the 90%? Absolutely. And in fact, it can start with your intent. Just because you are the creator of the reality, you can, in your meditation, request, command your brain to reactivate, to fully activate. So that's the beginning. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I can do, what I'm capable of if I only accepted it. So when you, because as I said, I've seen it over and over again in those 18 years in that school, the people being greater than we were told. So actually I realized I've just popped around and jumped around. I wanted to go back to the fear that I felt before. And when you get familiar with the fear, it's when you turn and face that you find that it isn't there. So anytime you are feeling fear about something, it has its roots in your inner child. So my inner child is afraid. My little child is afraid to make a fool of herself. My inner child is worried that if I say something stupid, or I don't make sense, or I leap around and jump through topic to topic, that you won't like me anymore. And she is the one that is afraid. Because me, from the adult, knows and says, well, big deal, it's okay. You know, the world's not going to stop turning if I make a fool of myself. So look and feel the fear and understand that your reluctance is coming from your inner child's fears that they adopted as a kid. Okie dokie. Hi, Michelle Galvin. So this is for everybody, this light language. Abati se sasianakianaka. Guyenaka. Gegabatishe susenyananakike. Endochetsa kabaati goreti ganyananakike. Abatushte stashtianaka. Ileleo butushteshta siana ku e chatsiana kiana. Imetikio tsakadiashtashtianaka. So they're telling me, or I'm hearing or understanding in my brain that that it's telling me, my higher self, my deeper self is saying, don't worry, just go with the flow and it will come out as it's meant to come out, and to relax into the flow. Nakika, shezi sheshushtanando teriaka, embiti seka atsi jenze tushena, bakaya tu sheshiana kamietia, kikonjetsi ze sushkenayana, kiena kamuka, abieta kuyanako, ize sushana, ize sushana. So hello, Deanne. And I'm glad you found me live. Thank you. Actually, do you like my hair? I had my hair cut this week, and it happened because I was on a live with Richie a couple of days ago on his channel, having just a chat generally. And after I got off, Squirrel Sniper and Caucasian Sasquatch came on, and their hair was down here, and I had been trying and thinking of growing my hair long, and at that point I knew there was not much hope. So the next day I went and got it all cut. Anyway, thanks guys. Thank you for being here today. Now, does anybody have any questions? And if you do, put them in caps and I'll answer them. Batia kochenze tushtashtiaka, gikogananya, babaditesh tushtashtiasa, kumbeta. Yeah, Sherry, it's easy to look after, isn't it, when it's that short? Okay, I'm just going to go back and see. Well, you know, I when I was 42, I got it cut off. I got it buzzed off about 0.5 centimetre because I'd had long hair all of my life. And when I cut it, I realised how much my identity was in my hair, it was so important to me. And when I cut it, I was a bit bereft for a little bit, and I had to find myself again beyond this long-haired person. So it was a fantastic exercise to do it. Okay. So I hope I can pronounce it. Sneziana wanted some light language. So I'm actually going to bring through some language, and I'm actually going to pull a card for Sneziana. Let me go and find her here. I'll never find it in the chat. So this is for Sneziana. Apologies for the mispronunciation. Okay, I'll have a look at February in a tick. All right, so this is for Sneziana, who was actually on the last live. Okay, the card for Sneziana is listen to your true feelings. Don't let others talk you into doing something that you know is wrong or not authentically what you want. So we all alter ourselves. We're like that chameleon. We are one way with a parent, we're another way with a boss, we're another way with a friend, we're another way with our local councilman. And so we are chameleons, and we move through what we think we need to be for each of these people. So it's actually asking you to say, who am I and what do I want? And to watch yourself, how you morph and change when you're with your mother, and then how you morph and change when you're with a sibling, for example, or a colleague. And you can see how you shift and change, and who are you really beyond all of that, because that chameleon-like activity on some level was part of your coping mechanism when you were a little kid, to try and fit in and try and be loved and accepted. So here's some light language for anybody who feels that they're a chameleon and has trouble being who they truly are. Iokayena ena yetu kayana. Bite sukati ashtushtanyana nakikombate shusenatiena. Hibetu kanyanaka. Hembetu kuyet sakati ashushanzeti kanyana. Hibetushtar se ikanyana nakika be utashiana. Inde duriashtashtishtashtiana meniandrukikenayana. Bia potreashe si kanyana nakika. Heleleubuku e janzeli atakroyata. Hileleubukunyana bayatia sesushanianaka. Oh, you want to turn. Isn't that funny? I totally relate to that, because there's something about local council politicians that is particularly trying, I must admit. Okay, 5D love and light. Let's have a look at you manifesting a home for yourself. Estustanzeki kanayanda babatea tushtesti kanyanaki kamba. Iluleo botushtestashtiana kiananaka. Hengi kike kakabo o de mzetianakia. Ezoti sasiana. Popotestostaniana kika. All right. The first card, 5D love and light, is the devil card, and in the tarot deck, it doesn't literally mean the devil. It means that there is an over identification with the material world, that there is it's about money, about acquisition, and coping with that aspect of your personality. So when you are wanting a house and a home, you have to look at what it means to you. Why do you want it? Is it security? Is it to keep up with the Joneses? You have to look at the material aspect of why you want a home and uncover what your motivation is. That's very important. The next card is the moon, which is that it's going to happen through a way that is unseen. So the moon is lighting up the darkness. So in this little reading, it's not going to happen in the way that you think it will happen. It's going to happen in a totally unexpected way. So what you need to do is let go of how you think you should create it. What are the steps? Think about it for, give yourself an hour, write it all down, draw a picture, but then let it go and allow the universe to bring it to you in an unexpected way, or a way that you couldn't conceive of, that isn't immediately obvious. Because when you have an idea of how it should happen, you are trying to control it. You're trying to create this step, then this step, and trying to be create it from your head and how you think it should. But when you surrender and say, how could it happen? I'm not going to try and direct it, and just go with the flow. Something deeper within you starts to activate and create and bring it to you in a much more effective, efficient way. And what you actually create will be more appropriate for you, more akin to what you really, really need. So the last card in that 5D Love and Light is the 5 of Pentacles. And it is that you will feel a place of lack within yourself. This is what is missing in your life. And because it's in this, in reading it in this, it will answer something for you. It will fulfill you. It will be exactly what you need. So it's about surrendering to how the universe wants to bring it to you, letting it go, like setting an intent, but then letting it go and being in the flow. Ejukanya tike susasi jenze kukanyana. Betikaya shoshesi zenaka. Biataka. Kukanyana nanakike. Iza shoshasi asha. Ibeti kanyana nakike. Ojetizanya. So Brian Evans, you've got milk chocolate. Did you want to answer me a question about me to answer a question about the milk chocolate? I love it too, don't worry. Okay, let me have a look. Hello, Anne. Okay, Kappa. Ooh. What do you need to hear today? Are you in, there's something you're trying to decide, some decision? Sheshia sukanyanana kika batia sesianaka. Idode shashianana mikayana. Giku kambatare sheshi zasianakianaka. Educhania seka. Because what I see in my mind is some sort of a Y cross, like a fork in the road. Embeti kanyanaka. Kekuka jet sanzi sesia sasushan nyanana kikebo ote nyana. Ize tushtashtia sikanyanaka. So there's no, this one, ultimately in the big picture, when you're making a decision, no road is better or worse than the other. There is always something to be learned. And when we were, how it was described to me is, when you're going to make a decision, it doesn't matter what the decision is, it's how you execute it. So I remember my teacher saying, if you make a decision and then sit up all night worrying that you've made the right decision, he said he would make sure it was the wrong decision. Because it's essentially, once you decide between at a fork in the road or whatever it is you're deciding, just go for it. Go for it. And you can alter how this road unfolds or how this road unfolds, this decision unfolds, this decision unfolds. You can decide that, and how you decide it and how you focus upon it and allow it will determine how each one unfolds. But if you go in worrying that you've made the wrong decision, it won't unfold in the best way possible. It'll be influenced by your doubt. It'll be influenced by your maybe, you know, regret or whatever it is. So does that answer anything that's going on in your life now? I hope that helps. Okay. Exactly what you needed to hear. That's fantastic. Pupatia shasinze kotaria sana. Kiembe tukaria shasi zezazianakama. Kekoyenakiatsa. Embie tukoyonoko. Ibataya shashusha si genyananaka. Ambati zesa kunyana. Now I think I'm actually going to draw a unicorn card for you, Kappa. See what the unicorns have got to say as well. Okay. Aha. Kappa, it's worth waiting for. Your patience will be rewarded. So sometimes the best thing is not to make the decision, is to just let it ride for at times as well. Somebody once said, I heard someone say, if when you're trying to make a decision, it's not an absolute yes, all out yes, then don't do it. Then it's a no. I don't know if I quite subscribe to that, but it's an interesting thing that if you have any doubt in something you decided to do, then don't do it. Just hold off until you know 100% that it's what you want to do. But if you have a time constraint and you make one, then just go for it. Just hold the vision and surrender, and you can affect the road that unfolds in front of you by that stance of openness. Ebekati shesusa ukanya. Yes, Dana, the actual one-on-one sessions are recorded, and I send you the Zoom recording. Okay, just looking for it. Yes, Lotus, I think, wanted a card and some light language. So this is for Lotus. Pokea tsikanyana, se tushtashti kambo uteshien zakamaya, eloloi tushtashti anaki, mbiti kanyana nakika. Eshushesi enyanaka, abo uti shenze etianaka. Oshesian nakimi edote shishenze kayatiatsaka. Esususiana kumbetiana. Ineni ondaki, ninianari kochetsazi enyanaki. Ambote shiase ukanyanaka. Ebiata senzanyana. Okay, Lotus. The the Knight of Wands is movement forward. So you're moving forward in your life. So you're not blocked, you're not held back, you are not on a detour, you are not off the path at all. You are on a movement forward in the way that you want to go. You're not digging your heels in, you're not reluctant, and you're not out of control going hell-bent for leather. You are moving forward at a reasonable pace. So be happy with your movement. Be content with your movement forward. And that will keep it. It'll keep the momentum going. So whatever you think, you are moving forward. You are progressing in a good way, in a healthy way. You're not sort of dragging your heels or going off, crazy, reactionary way. Let's have a look. Now, Susie Gemini has a channel where she looks at astrology, and I have never really gotten into this. And it's partly because nobody can remember the time I was born. So I've never really been able to get what I would say an accurate chart done. So it's never been, I never ever looked at it. But what I understand, and I'm sure Susie's got something like this on her channel, that nothing is in retrograde at the moment, that all the planets are direct. And this actually melds in with the concept that there has been a shift, and that all those knots and all tied up from 2022 have begun to unravel and free up, so that we all as a humanity move forward. We're all like now in this forward momentum, and that the planets, as discussed in astrology, is about that. It actually confirms that on a different level. Ibeti kunyataka chit sesi seshoshanianaka. Ibetu sesianaka. Ibetiasa. Let's have a look at this. Yes, all direct. Uranus goes direct. Yeah. So it is, I know for the flat earthers that we're talking, I don't know how flat earthers deal with astrology. But I just thought when I was reading this, there was a correlation between what I felt energetically. Because when you're in retrograde, I remember last year, we only had 1 month where we were direct, and we were retrograde in one way or another throughout the rest of the year. And that reflected that the turmoil and stuff. So I think that's a very interesting correlation, that we're all direct at the moment. They're all direct. So Jillian, 11:47. Hi, Jillian. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's possible too. I don't know the truth of any of this. I mean, I know what I feel, but can I prove any of this stuff that I feel? No. And it's absolutely possible that the sky moves around us. What a Paul. So this is what Paul said. So the fault lies not in the stars, but in who we are under them. Yes, Paul, I think that's quite a profound observation there. Oh, I might have a look at that, Dee. I might contact the hospital where I was born to see if they had it. And you found that after 60 years. I do know I was born in the Royal North Shore Hospital in Sydney, so maybe I would be able to find it. I should have a look. Okay, so Isabel would like a card reading too. Okay, for Isabel. Isabel, estu kamba ati kianyatse tiasha, kikumba ati jesi akiene kama, ebeti shushanze ki etiana, bababati o te kiena kanyana kika, ezuti shashize etushana, baati embe kukanyana. Now, a little while ago, I saw in the chat that somebody wanted to know about the energies for February. Well, I will be doing this week a whole video on that. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll do a whole reading on February. Okay, so Isabel. All right, so Isabel, your past is the Ace of Pentacles. So I did 3 cards, past, present, and future. So in your recent past, the Ace represents a new beginning, represents the beginning of the suit. So you've broken through into a new area, not just in regards to money, which is what, or income or abundance, which is what the Pentacles is about on one level, but about what does that money ultimately mean. It means stability and security and freedom in your life. So you've had a new, you've entered a new phase of your life of of knowing who you are, stability and security. Now, the Lovers is the next card. So if you don't have a partner can be coming into your life. But also, if you do have a partner, what the Lovers means is that you understand each other's perspectives within the relationship. It is coming to peace that somebody might be a Democrat while you're a Republican, and you're actually in a relationship. And instead of going into that old debate and fighting, you're at peace with the fact. You don't have to agree with their political persuasion, but you do have to allow them their truth. And so this card of the Lovers, when you're in a relationship, means you come to peace with the differences and celebrate the differences and allow them their own specific journey. So this Ace of Pentacles, your new stability and security grounded in yourself, it has an overflow into the relationships that you have in your life, in particular, your partner. And this means that you don't have to prove yourself to them. You know who you are, and you don't have to ask them to be like you to feel okay about you, which is what we often do. We learned to do as a child through watching our parents. So there's a new level of connection and peace with you and your partner. Or it means you are going to bring a new partner into your life. And your future card is the Chariot. And this is movement forward. So instead of feeling stagnated in relationships and stagnated in your relationship, this new harmony then allows you to move forward. Because when you're not harmonious and at peace with the person and you're with, it's like you are stuck in evolving. And essentially, a relationship is, a partnership is the best place to evolve. The most powerful evolutionary interaction, if you're awake and you watch how they trigger you and they're aware of how you trigger them, and you understand and learn and talk about it, and you grow within the relationship, because it's the toughest sort of mirroring going on, because you're often living together, you're at the breakfast table reading the paper or whatever it is, and it's all out there, and you are who you are at the breakfast table. I'm pretty sure that's generally what happens. And that's when you can be allowing of that person, and I see it in my mind as something that the progression forward moves faster and more efficiently and more productively. And that's what the future is. In this 3-card spread, this is the Chariot is moving forward. It's pulling out energy from things that no longer matter. It's pulling out energy from things that were holding you back or tripping you up. So when you have this interaction of allowance of another person's opinion, and understanding it from their inner child's perspective, you begin to move forward. Eshtuku shenze tukumoi. Embeti kayatsa sesu shanze kiata. Bute kiatsa kanyanaka. Ibeti shenze tukiyana. Ezota kiana kukamba. Educhenze. Eziabaka aliotanyanaka. Etsushana. Sherry Kitchen. Yes. Long-term relationships are superb teachers. You're in the fire, you're in the crucible when you're in a relationship. And there was India did a video on the inner child, and there was a quote at the end of it. If you can pop it here, India, the one where we had our photos at the end, there was a quote next to one of mine, and I can't remember. But essentially, what you are doing in a relationship is helping the other person's inner child heal. Something like that. And it is true, because from my perspective, when we're emotionally reacting in any situation, the roots of that reaction are in your inner child. And that's how you learn to cope or react and respond in certain situations. So when you can allow your partner to be who they are, when you can allow your partner their perspective and have compassion for their inner child, boy, growth is exponential. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, have a look for it, India. And that was India's got a fantastic 432 hertz music art channel. It's amazing. So if that hasn't been put in the chat yet, if someone can put it in, if Hippie can put it in. I don't know. Is this the Chariot year? Maybe this year, Isabel. Absolutely, Brian. And it's not to freak out when it becomes unbalanced, because it doesn't mean there's a problem with the relationship when it becomes unbalanced. It means that on a soul level, you're ready to do another level of healing. We have to start looking at what happens in our lives from this higher picture. So when you see people stay together for example, for years and years, and they're still arguing, still doing this, they've not looked at each other's stuff, and they've decided to stay solid in this interaction. So when you start growing, you evolve in a way that wouldn't be possible if you ignored what was going on in the relationship. Eshtukayetsesi senyananakika, ebatushtashtyanaka, elulaliaka. So we are family. And would you believe, when I was thinking about the live today, when I was laying in bed last night, I wanted to take you through a little exercise, if you're willing. And what I want you to do is get comfortable, close your eyes, and imagine that all of us here in this little community and in the other communities that we hang out, because we're all sort of cross-pollinating in all of these little chat rooms. I was thinking about seeing us on a beach somewhere at night, and there's a bonfire, in the middle of us all, and we're all sitting around. And so to really feel us all coming together and hearing the waves of the crashing onto or coming up onto the shore, and feeling the sand and feeling the warmth of the bonfire, and looking and seeing there's Kappa on my left and there's Brian on my right. So this is what I was thinking. Yeah. See us together. See us together. And if we all have, let's just use that. Cross-pollinating. Yeah, it's a good term. It is what we're doing, because we're bringing spirituality into truther, into alternative history, and back into the other way. So into spirituality, we're bringing outrageous thoughts. We're bringing thoughts outside of the box, questioning the narrative. So there's a really good cross-pollination coming on. So if everybody is happy with that visual, maybe we start thinking of it in our meditation. So we are on that beach. There's the dark sky above us with sprinklings of whatever you think they are, stars. So maybe see the Milky Way, could be the firmament, the dome, it could be the image that's being reflected on the dome, however you want to see it. And we're all sitting, and maybe Richie's there playing his guitar. Everybody's got instruments, and maybe you were on the beach, Brian. How lovely. Yeah. So that's what, if you wanted to think of that's where we could actually be, then let's do that. Let's do that as a group. And you can feel the sand, the air. There's a warm breeze, a very gentle breeze. The smoke's just going up. Nobody's having trouble with the smoke, but it is love and joy and happiness. So that's how I'm going to continue to meditate and focus on that for 5 minutes or so each day, and then just let it go and see whether we do all magnetize ourselves and end up on the same timeline towards that beach. Yeah, that's right, Sharon. We could do a tour around the planet, around the globe, around the realm, and go to Australia, Tulum, go up to Llanelli. Is that how you pronounce it, Brian, in where you are, in Wales? Oh, the car stereo, yeah. Yeah, you had the car lights lighting up the area initially, yeah. Okay, I saw a question. You're a pyromaniac here. Okay, India. Okay, so Beth says, what's the difference between the shadow and the inner child? It's really, in a way, it's the same thing. What we hide in here, what we split off and won't feel in what I call the inner child. So here's you, the adult, and your adult's perspective and well-read, self-aware, you know what you want and know what you don't want. In here is the inner child. And what we understand is when children experience things that are too hard to cope with emotionally, they split them off. They, how I define it is they sit in our peripheral awareness as a way to cope. So what this is, the shadow, in that it is what we don't look at. It is what we don't feel. And when you're doing inner child work, you are feeling the emotions that you haven't been willing to feel or were too afraid to feel. And in a way, it is like the shadow. It's the stuff that we don't want to look at. It's the stuff that's too hard. Now, I think shadow self has a negative connotation to some degree, whereas inner child is more of a loving way to heal. So you would want to heal, and more people are willing in a way to heal their inner child's wounds than if you are to do shadow work. But I think that on one level, it's essentially the same thing. Shadow work is looking into the shadows. Shadow work is looking at the stuff we've disowned, that we don't want to, we're maybe ashamed to look at or afraid to look at. Estu kanyatsike sesusa shenze ebiti kanyana embotuku yetsesia kakanyana nakike zushe sanyanaka. So whenever looking into parts of yourself, do so with love and compassion. And as they say, that what you see in others is really what's in you. So if you're judging somebody for being a certain way, often that person is an aspect of you that you've disowned, and it's in here. And this is the universe trying to show you your shadow, or show you the parts of you that you haven't looked at. And so always look at those things with love and compassion, because it was set up at a time when you were very young and you know better and did what you needed to in order to cope. So I hope that answers that. Okay. Great. Okay. Hi, Jolly Man. You just popped on. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. And did you ask a question? I can't see it. Can you pop it back in again? Did I answer it? I wouldn't. I cannot remember. So, Anne, yeah, if you can pop it in. Yes, Sherry, the man in the mirror. Yeah, everything on one level is just showing us us. Okay. Okay, I am going to actually draw a card for India, for holistic media. These guys, Hippie and Holistic, India and Teresa, are fantastic moderators, and they help in many different chat rooms, connecting. They're holding the energy. I don't know if they realize that. You guys are the anchor in the chat room. It's incredibly important, the role that you guys play. It's important, the roles you guys play. So I would like to draw a card for Hippie. Okay, so Hippie, change. You're going through a change, Hippie. Teresa, you're going through, the changes that you're going through are positive. So stay upbeat about any changes that are happening in your life, Hippie. And now one for Holistic, for India. Okay, so India, it's to learn more about your family culture. So this is part of the inner child work, and it's important to understand where your stuff comes from, because what you're living and breathing and experiencing right now is related to what you saw, felt, and heard as a kid. So the shadow work is, in a way, working out what's happened, because people don't understand how profound the energy is, the influence of the energy of the inner child on their day-to-day life. It is the source of all of the things that we are experiencing. Okay. All right. Yeah, can you understand the profoundness of what's going to happen with the next generation that is born? That there are so many people awake now particularly so in the last couple of years, awake to the truth of what's been happening on the planet. So these beings are stepping into the energy. The parents, the new parents, are stepping into the energy of truth. They're stepping into the energy of power, of change, of no longer giving their power away to governments, external things. So that energy, that awareness is passed on to any children they have. So it's not just a way to teach your children or to raise your children. It's actually in your DNA now. You have changed your DNA. The new parents, people that conceive children from now on, are doing it and are influencing their children in a deep genetic way, which hasn't happened for a long time, not on this scale. And it's the beginning of the real creation of 5D on the planet. That the children coming in have parents that are awake. And it's very, very powerful. Okay. Well, I have a client in half an hour, so I'm going to have to hop off. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with me today. I'm just having a look here. Anything else I want to look at? Yep, if you want to have a look at the video, oh, there is one other thing I wanted to say. So have a look at the video, The Key to Manifesting What You Want, on my YouTube channel. That talks you through having a different perspective on what it is you want to create from the inner child perspective as well. But I've put a new link, a new tab on my website, and it is under the videos, and it will have light language transmissions. And I'm just going to pop up there every so often and put a light language transmission. That's all it'll be. It'll have a title for what the light language is for, and there won't be too much me chattering before or after. It'll just be the light language. So you can just access those whenever you want. And I would suggest watch it a couple of times, and they're only like 5 or 6 minutes each anyway. But there'll be more and more and more for just anybody to have a listen to when you want a lift. Now, I listen to my own transmissions because they're for me too. I bring them through, but it's not me saying it or deciding what comes through. So I can sometimes, when I'm feeling a bit down, I will just go onto my channel and watch maybe 10 videos in a row. And by the time I've watched that, my whole frequency has shifted. Whatever you can do to shift in the moment is really important. Whether that's listening to light language, whether that's dancing, whether that's music, whether that's walking your dog, being out in nature. This year is about shifting your frequency. It is not accepting the miasma that I talk about in the Free Will Part 2. It's identifying that miasma and saying, okay, what's a new frequency I can reach for and experience? And I would have called it gestalting. That's how it was shown to me many years ago. To gestalt something is to walk as it, literally embrace the frequency of it. All right, people, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everybody in the UK and anybody here in Australia. It's absolutely gorgeous out there today, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.